Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to WTF Live. I am Ogian Mazder. It is Thursday night. Want to thank everybody for joining me so far. We got Jamie Harms, Great Lakes Sasquatch, Jamie Cotterill. The Jamies are in town. Professor OJ, Strangeland. Who else? Jenny Metz. Thanks for joining us. Got Strangeland. Who else? I know I saw somebody. Audrey and Jamie. Well, if I missed anybody, guys, thanks for being here. I can't thank you guys enough. I've been reading the comments that people have been leaving, and there's a lot of really great comments about chat. How wonderful chat is, and what a tight family we are, and they don't know shit. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's amazing. You guys rock. You really do. I don't get to follow chat, and be honest with you, I don't usually go back and listen to the shows unless I check comments. So I don't go back and read chat. One of these days I'm going to see what my chat room looks like. But my hat goes off to my moderators. They do an awesome job. But to everybody who's leaving comments, and thank you, because it's really encouraging to see. It makes me feel like I'm doing something right. Right now we only have 15 in chat. We've been on 2 minutes. But yeah. So again, it's one of those nights where I don't have a plan. Surprise. But if anybody wants to come on, and this is another weird thing. Why are people so surprised that I'm so willing to, just bring people on at random? Why not? I am one of you guys. I was, like I said the other day, I think I said to somebody, I was born in chat. I just happened to. It's like somebody left the back door open and we snuck in, and here I am. Let's go back to comments. So yeah, if anybody wants to come on, email me at monstermogian@gmail.com, and I'll send you a link. Maybe we'll try the link in chat again. I don't know if it's going to work. Who knows? Nessie, hi. Before you ask, yes, my pants are on. She always asks. She's really persistent that way. My Pam. Rosemary Andrews. Thank you very much, hon. Oh, shit. I don't have my portal cup with me. Oh, well. Pappy, what's up, buddy? Great to see you, sir. Yeah. Nessie, I knew it was coming, so I just figured I'd get it out of the way. What else we got over here? So yeah, I've been thinking. I want your input on this. I definitely want to do a third night. A weekend. But unfortunately, it's just I have this thing is I don't want to like compete. Not that it's competing, but if somebody's on at 7 and they're on for an hour, I usually like wait until they're done. But if I'm going to try to get on earlier, I have to go on at the same time as someone else, and I just got to figure out what day to do it. Sundays I might not have to. Sundays I can do maybe 8 o'clock. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. I know I said this the last show, but I'm really I want to do something different, or not much different. Maybe I'll wear a funky bandana on Saturday nights. Jamie Harms, wing it. That's what I'm doing. That's what I do all the time until somebody Bomber, you didn't miss anything. Yeah, there are a lot of Jamies in here. What's up, Chris? Big Rob, man. How you doing? 2 a.m. every day, Mug. Yeah, right? Yeah, it's an interesting thought, but no. I couldn't do it out every day. I think 3 days right now. 2 days is 2 days is good, but to me, it's not enough. It's weird. I don't know. Oh shit! I turned my volume down, didn't I? Oh, somebody could have emailed me. I have no idea. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's enough. There's too many days between Thursday and Tuesday, you know. So I think definitely do a Saturday or Sunday. Saturdays, I think it'd be too late. Whatever. We'll figure it out. I'm babbling. Who's in chat? Let's see. You guys have any questions? For me, we do this every week or every other day. Feel free to ask. Somebody told me, somebody suggested in comments that I should, come up with a plan as far as, have a subject matter every day. I thought about it and here I am. Sorry. I know I'm doing a list right now of, potential guests, so I could do some, plan some shows beforehand instead of this shit where I'm just like, babbling, struggling for you guys to come on. Hi, Chick Feed. Ethan, what's up, buddy? Jamie Harms, have you been out to the rim lately? No. Soon. Today is my Sunday, so it's back to work for the next 4 days, and then maybe next week, because I've been saying it that I want to go and I just haven't made plans to go. So hopefully, maybe Monday night I'll leave or Tuesday morning, but I want to get out there. It's calling. All right, Ozzy. Look at Monster. What got you into the paranormal and the cryptids? The paranormal got me into the paranormal. Things that have happened throughout my life. Ghost things started back. Shit's been happening all my life, but the weirdest things happened like when my mom died. The day she died, and then 17 years later, she made her presence known. So I was convinced, I already knew that the paranormal existed. I'm a knower in that. I've seen some weird shit. Cryptids, I stumbled upon Sasquatch Chronicles and was hooked. That's my beat up cup. Yeah, I was hooked, listening to these stories. I think I started listening to him when he was back in the 200s. I mean, now he's in the 6 pushing 700 shows. But yeah, I figured all these people, not everybody's lying. It's just impossible for everybody to lie. And so that got me into it. And then, I got into Bigfoot, and then now once you get into one, you end up hearing all this other stuff like dogmen and skinwalkers and Wendigo and all this other crazy shit that, I wasn't that up on. I mean, I'd heard of it, but had no idea. Just like before I got into Sasquatch. You know, I was one of those people who just figured it was one or two in the Pacific Northwest, and you know, it was there, and I was here. You know, but then when you realize and you hear that, you know, they're in every state, and you hear stories from every state except Hawaii, um, it makes you wonder and scratch your head. And I believe, or I have a good idea that they are out there, and you know, there are people who are knowers. I'm not a knower. Paranormal, yeah, I'm a knower. For what I experienced, I know. Excuse me. So I really, I don't want to go out there. I'm going to get out there, but I want to just, the experience is for myself. It's not for everybody else, you know, at first. You know, if it doesn't kill me and, or, you know, scare me out of the woods, you know, then maybe I'll do some research, but we'll see. What part of the state are you located? Me, Jenny, I am in Cottonwood, Arizona. It's geographically, it's about the dead center of the state, um, just about 15 miles southwest of Sedona. Um, oh, that wasn't intended for me, but Jamie is in Snowflake. No shit, I didn't know that. Cool. That's Snowflake. That's what's his name? Travis Walton's old hangout. Sorry, that's a curl joke, but hey, Aaron, how's it going, man? James, hello. Professor Orange Juice. I'm curious about the name, but I'm afraid to ask. Micah, what's going on, man? Oh, what kind of weird shit that I've experienced? Oh, man, you guys have heard my stories. Um, shit. Um, hmm. Micah, my stuff, my weird shit started when I was a kid, and it was just experience or just sort of knowing what somebody was going to say before they said it. I didn't realize it when I was a kid. I realized it later on in life. You know, recently. You know, when I look back, I was like, huh, because I've had some weird things happen recently that were telepathic or psychic or whatever, and it made me look back and really reflect and go, huh, yeah, that did happen when I was a kid. Oh yeah, that happened. So just weird shit. And it's kind of been happening my whole life, you know, just knowing what someone's going to say, or you know, you get a thought in your head and then they say it. It's like, why did you just say that? I was just thinking that. You know, a lot of that, tons of that. Um, it's weird shit. So Bomber's having phone issues, so she will she'll be around, but she's limited in the chatting she can do. So thanks though for moderating Bomber with a broken phone. Hey Linda, how are you on? Chopper, what's going on, man? Hi D. Wow, we're like 15 minutes into this and no one has emailed me, huh? Nope. Wow, this is gonna be a short show. um Jenny Metz asks, what is the weirdest thing that has happened in your life? Doing this show. It's not the weirdest thing, but it's fucking weird that I'm doing a show. Um, hmm. I don't know. There's been some weird shit. I'll have to think about that. Is Andy here? Andy, what's up, buddy? Hope you're feeling better, man. Speaking of feeling better, Big Rob, man, how you all healed up yet, or what? Weirdest thing that's happened in my life. I don't know. I mean, there's paranormal things that happen that I've, if you go back and watch, or I'll tell them another time. I don't know if I want to. You just get into that story again. Hold on. You know what? You answered that. You asked that question the other night, Professor Orange Juice. Is Sedona really as weird as they say? You know what? There's some weird people there, and there's supposedly no, there's a lot of weird people there. Excuse me. Let me correct myself. There's supposed to be vortexes. There's supposed to be a dumb, deep underground military base out there. What else? There's Bradshaw Ranch is out in Sedona. That it's owned by the military or the government now, but it used to be privately owned, big piece of property, and weird shit was happening there, like portals opening, and supposedly the woman habituated Bigfoot, UFOs. Yeah, really look up Bradshaw Ranch and it's some weird shit. And it's not far. Like since I started driving now at work, they're sending me out on these rescues, because people roll these vehicles over all the time, get flat tires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the camera to the windshield of the vehicle. Probably not a GoPro, but so you guys, when the drive out there is amazing. So if I can show you guys Sedona from the way I see it, driving out these roads to do these rescues, I mean, you guys will just shit. It's that beautiful. And if you've ever been to Sedona, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, Nessie, I have not seen a UFO. My dad did see a UFO. Excuse me. Back in '93 in Sedona. Yeah, he had built a house in '93, and one night he was out there doing something on the house, working on doing something. It was a brand new house, so I don't know what the hell he was working on. But he was out there with some other guy, and it was getting dark, or it got dark. And he hears a hum, and he looks around, and then he looks up, and they both see it, and it's blocking out the stars. He said it was about the size of a football field. He ended up seeing it again a week later, not even. But one of the times lights came off the bottom of it, and like one went left, one went right at like crazy speeds, and then came back and met up. Then it went away. When my dad and his friend went in the house, his wife was like, what's wrong with you guys? You look like you saw a ghost. And they told her, and she was like, you're full of shit. Well, less than a week later, sorry, got distracted. Less than a week later, he's sitting in the hot tub and he hears that hum again. So he's like, oh shit. And he jumps up out of the hot tub, runs inside, and, calls his wife and, my sister outside. And they all come out all excited and, what? So my dad points up. He just goes, what the fuck is that? And my stepmother looks up. And she didn't usually curse, but the way my dad tells it, she cursed. So yeah, they saw the same thing, blocked out the stars about the size of a football field. But this time, military jets came and chased it away. So my dad's a retired cop. You know, in his career, his word was good enough to put people away. So if he says he saw a UFO, he saw a UFO. You know, he's a no bullshit kind of guy. Um, so yeah, Ness, I haven't. My dad has. I have friends that have seen him in Sedona. Um, there's weird shit out here. Lonnie Zamora UFO case. Why does that sound familiar? Jamie, now I'm gonna have to look that up. Lonnie Zamora. Lonnie Zamora. That's really familiar. You know what, Pappy? I forgot I asked people to come on. I just gave up. So yeah, guys, anybody wants to come on, you know, email me. D, what's your subject, hon? Email me. I'll send you a link. Okay, Russ, I've got a subject. Go ahead. You know what, dude? Micah says New Mexico state trooper that saw one land. I talked to a retired police officer recently. He was a county sheriff for a while, then worked in a local jurisdiction, and he was telling me that he got a call in the next town over, and people were freaking out because this saucer had landed, and by the time he got there, it had just taken off and left. So he didn't see it, but people around were just going nuts. Huh. Jamie, I just read that, and it's kind of weird how those two stories just coincided. Hold on. Mogs, Bomber, and Strangeland want to come on. So, come on. What do I got to beg? Oh, kidding. All right, man. So I forgot what I was saying. See, it doesn't take much to distract me. Oops, don't hit that one. Almost hit the wrong button again. I'm good at that. All right, where am I? Close this and oh, there we are. It's funny because when I start typing in shit, I can't see the screen, the camera screen or anything, so it's weird. Greetings, Duke. How you doing, buddy? Mogs, let's see your dog. Oh, my dog. Sorry. Yeah, I'm in my studio. Studio. And my dogs are in the house. But I'll bring them on one day. Maya and Lucy, they're good dogs. Black bandana night. It is. I was gonna say it's a black shirt night, but it's always a black shirt night. I gotta start. I gotta start getting more shirts. I'm gonna get shirts from all the different. It's gonna cost a little bit, but all the different other channels. I figure I'll support. Each week or whatever. I'll support other channels by wearing their shirts. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna bring on Strangeland. He always has something good to say. What's up, buddy?
Hey,
Hang on.
what's happening?
Forget. Until I bring someone on, I don't need my earphones. Then I bring someone on and I got to put them in. What's up, man?
No, not too much. What's happening? Your channel is growing.
Is it?
Yes, there's more and more people every time, I think.
Yeah, no, I hope so. No, it is, and it's weird, man. It's growing really quickly, and I'm stoked. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, man, I was looking at those pictures you sent me.
Yep.
Yeah, no, those are some cool pictures, but I wasn't impressed by the orbs. I was looking out the window and like blowing it up and seeing what was outside, and there's some weird shit outside, dude.
Yeah,
There's some weird shit outside.
Some of the orbs at the center were just pretty much basic orbs. Like I got a lot of stuff on video, so a lot of those are just actually I just done still shots. So on my phone, I'd take the video, and then I'd pause it, and I'd just slowly drag, so I could just follow along with the whole video, and then I'd just take clips of some of the orbs. But by the time it goes from one to the next, and then email to you, whatever, I mean, it's like anything, you lose quality. So.
Well, I don't think you lose that much quality with digital, But those are some. Say that again.
Do you have access to be able to show that online? One of those?
Not offhand. I don't know how to do that on here. I have to figure it out. It's one of these screens that I'm just going to start pushing shit. Sorry, dude. Let's see what this does. Okay, that one does nothing. Yeah, I haven't figured that out. I might even have to pull a carry and call Daniela to find out how to do that. She knows all that stuff.
I sent you one picture. I used to live at a cabin there before I bought this house last year with my father. It was only a small spot, and he moved in with me. And probably a week before I moved out, the spare room that I wasn't using, bit by bit, the paint was starting to chip off the door. So I guess it was just probably water paint put on over oil because it was an old door.
Yeah.
Did you get the picture where?
I did. That's cool.
That was actually, I never noticed what that was. I was just thinking that it was the cat chipping off, jumping up and knocking pieces of paint off. But the picture I sent you, the second afternoon when I was moving, I stopped and I took a picture of that door, and it looks like a Bigfoot head, and what looks like a dog, a German Shepherd with pointy ears. And down by the handle, you can actually see the same shape of a Bigfoot type head with the leg that comes out of the corner of the door. And it's almost like it's peeking out around the handle.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I saw the two. I saw the head, the top head that looked like Bigfoot. The profile. The second one almost looked like a Bigfoot too, because it looked like it had a coned head, or But the one by the doorknob, I couldn't figure out.
Yeah, but I mentioned a link here to. There was a guy that responded to the last time I was on the show with you, and he sent me a link to or mentioned basically a show on YouTube, and I think it was called Iceland, something to do with the land of the unknown or something like that. I think it was. I watched the video; it's about an hour and a half long, and it's I think it's back probably in the 80s, early 90s. The video was took, but they actually interview a lot of people. They talk about spiritual entities and how people on the island consider, because of the land and the volcanic activity and different types of rock and whatnot, that these people get on, and I mean everything from mayors to police officers, and they're talking about from being children to adults having toyed with these trolls and fury type little entities. So it was a really, really interesting show. But the funny thing was, like when I start watching that, there was a lot of the stuff that I seen that's similar to what I've experienced where I'm too.
Really?
I mean, it's kind of a bit strange, but well, Strange Land, of course. That's where the name came from. But I mean, there's so much out there. But I mean, as a child here in Newfoundland, we're on the east coast of Canada. Basically, when we settled, we were the main location, I guess, for people coming over from Europe, from Ireland, England, and Scotland or wherever, whether they're heading to the United States or staying here or in Atlantic Canada or whatever. There's a lot of stories of fairies and trolls and elves and all that type of stuff that I remember being passed down from my grandmother and my great grandmother down through, and they'd send you out, and basically they were big believers of these fairies and elves, and that the fairies could take you and be respectful, and that you carry bread in your pocket and whatnot. A good friend of mine, his mother, she really believed in them. When she was a young girl, she told us a story about she was playing by a river with a bunch of her friends, and there was this little island in the river. Anyway, something happened. I can't fully remember, but she said there was, I don't know if it was a weird smell or whatever, and the kids scattered and took off. She felt like she was out of sorts, and when she opened her eyes, she was out on this little island in the river, and she wasn't wet. And her friends ran home and basically told her parents that something strange happened. And I think one or two of the parents went down and seen the young girl out in the little island land. And there was no wetness to her clothes or whatever. She don't know how she got out there. But I guess that's the whole weird thing of being taken by fairies.
Huh. Yeah, I know there's a, what country is it that somebody just mentioned it? I saw it on a show the other day, and I remember hearing it before about how some countries, could be Iceland, could be, whatever it was, that they really believe in these things where they'll build roads around areas, like they'll go around, detour around an area when they're putting in a road, if that area is known to be an area that these things,
Yes, that's on the documentary about Iceland. When they were putting a road through, like they actually stopped the construction because I don't know if it was somebody that was on a road building crew or whatever. Anyway, they figured that this mound of rocks was tied to where these little elves and fairies lived, that they actually had a village inside these rocks. And as a child or as an adult or whatever the case may be, like a lot of these people played with these entities, and they spoke of different rock structures where if you stood on them or you were there too long, you could actually, a doorway would open or a portal, and you would end up basically in the world of these elves or fairies or whatever the case may be, or trolls. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was super, super interesting. It's a really good documentary. It's called Iceland something, I can't remember, Strange or Land of, probably the Land of the Strange or Unknown or something like that, or The Unseen or something like that, spiritual, whatever.
Sorry, I got a little distracted by an email. Sorry. Yeah, there's just like, there's something else I heard about somewhere where they would put a highway in or whatever, but they'd go around certain areas. Like there was one in Iceland. I heard about this somewhere else too. Was it in Hawaii where they built near a holy? Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
Yeah, a lot of these countries actually look at what we consider fairy tales or stories. I mean, it's a big part of their culture, and I mean,
well, and it all started somewhere. I mean, it had, it's not like somebody just made this shit up one day.
Yeah, the whole topic of, say, Bigfoot. I think it's down in Malaysia, one of those places. Orang Pendek, which is supposed to be a form of a Bigfoot, but it's a smaller type creature. There's a couple of pretty good shows on that type of thing too when it comes to exploration and whatnot. But it's interesting, because there's so much of Bigfoot being spoke about in different cultures all over the world, and it's passed on in drawings or whatever the case may be. So I mean, I don't know how someone can turn around and dismiss it when it's a big part of everybody's culture, basically, when it comes to fairy tales and myths and stories that have been passed down, what we read as a child in a book sometimes, like the troll under the bridge or this or whatever the case may be. I mean, all that is linked to have started somewhere.
Yeah, everything's got its origins. I mean, that's why I like when I ask anybody their stories, like, so how did you get into it? I always want to hear the genesis story. I want to know how this all started, for each person. And you do hear different stories of different cultures, just the weird. It's weird to us because it's out of the normal, but to them it's every day, and that's their paradigm.
Yeah. I've had a lot, like I said the last time I spoke to you, I've had a lot of experiences to the point where I've had so many over time, and even the most recent, say within the last X number of months, I'm looking back on some things that happened in the past, and I'm like, whether it was pictures I took or a video, and I'm seeing things that I recognize now that I didn't even realize was there then. But I know what you're saying about that picture of that the orb when you're looking outside the window and see all those different.
Yeah, outside the window, like standing outside the window. There's one that, like, I was like, what the hell is that? There's another one where I'd swear it was a dogman or the glass is dirty. I'm not sure which it is. But I'm like, I can see eyes, I can see a nose, and I'm like, interesting.
I have some videos actually. There's one that I took where a lot of the times when I just went to bed in the nighttime, I'd watch my cat because he'd get up on the mattress next to me or at the foot of the bed. And once I seen him looking around, I knew that something strange was probably going to present itself that I couldn't see. But the only way I could see it is if I turn on the camera on the phone. And the same thing with things going on outside my house. But one night I was just watching the phone. I couldn't see nothing myself. The cat was looking around, and every direction he was going, he was following his orb. And it went out through my door into the bathroom that's just off of my bedroom. The cat chased it and ran out through. So I kept the camera running. When he came back in, the light went ahead of him.
Really?
And yeah, it's super weird. I had another one actually where I had the camera on my phone, and I watched these orbs come into the window from the window you were talking about. But it was almost like a wave of them. It was just coming in like not in a straight line, but there had to be 50 to 100 orbs coming in over the span of 30 seconds.
Jesus.
So it's like just something just passed through and went on. But sometimes, like some pictures and videos I have, and I haven't showed a lot of this. I kept a lot to myself. It was only the last time I spoke to you, I started to open up a little bit. And something that actually made me feel a bit better, believe it or not. Just talking about it, even though I thought I had a full grip on things. But it was nice to talk about it. And like I said,
it gets some stuff off your chest.
Yeah,
that's good. And nobody's giving you shit for it,
No. Well, I mean, I don't think anyone in this area is aware of what I'm talking about, but there is some stuff that's really scary.
I mean, here, in this immediate vicinity, the chat room, or I saw you on Carrie's show. No one's gonna give you crap.
I don't know if I mentioned it last time. I actually had a video. I was picking a lot of this up on my security camera, like I mentioned before, and then I would hold up my phone and I'd be looking at what was going on outside my camera that was pointing out to the window, and then I put it outside, but like I could see exactly what was going on. And there was times I mentioned before about this metallic looking thing with the eyes on top that used to look around this tree in a pole. I could be in my house and sit down in front of my TV, which is in front of me now. My phone's in front of it, and the window blinds are on back of me, and it's just out across the street is where this is too. And I would, as soon as I would go and check the security camera on my phone, that thing would stick his head out and look at me like that.
And you
But
can only see it on the phone.
yeah, so I said to myself, well, maybe he's just seeing me through the window. So I would take breaks of time and I'd go out into the porch or out into the kitchen and I'd put my phone on to check the security camera. Even when I got on that phone, that same thing still presented itself. So I mean, is it one step ahead when it comes to?
That's a little weird.
Yeah, like is it linked to you where it's is
You know what
reading?
you're gonna do?
Yeah, because it's one step ahead. And I mean, if that's the case, does that apply to Bigfoot? I mean, like, are they so consciously aware as soon as somebody comes in within a certain area? You know how I mean? A lot of people say they're in the
Oh
woods.
no, I'm sure they are. I mean, I'm sure they are. That's why, you know, like they say that you know, you put a game cam up, you know, they know every leaf, every stick, every, you know, they know there were woods. It's their living room. You know, somebody puts a game camera in your living room, you're going to notice it. Yeah, I think they're very aware. They know when you're there. They hear you coming a mile away. In my opinion,
yeah. But I mean, I think personally, like I've had experiences, not that I've just seen, but be in the woods and you just get that. I used to do a lot of fishing, trouting, we call it. You go to a certain area, and there was times we'd go down this river to get to where this gully was to. But there was times I'd walk the trail, cut through the trees, and it was pretty dark, and you'd come out down with the pond or the gully on the other side. But there was times I'd go to walk through there, and I'd stop all of a sudden. I'd be like, something feels off. I'm just going to walk down the river. So, I mean, am I picking up a sensing that there's something strange that's in that woods? Or, I mean, there's times close by to a particular spot where over the span of 20 years or more, I've experienced lots of weird Sasquatch, what I call Sasquatch related things, from noises to rocks to. I was at a friend's cabin. So, see, I got so many different stories. I can just pop them off the top of my head. A buddy of mine was in a cabin about 3 years ago. And I don't know who I was telling the story to, or if I mentioned you. I sing and play a lot of traditional Irish and Newfoundland music here in Canada.
Awesome.
So I play Irish drum, which is called a bodhrán or bodhrán, goatskin drum. I went to a friend of mine, his cabin that I used to own. So we lit a barrel outside, and everybody was drinking beer, and they were basically asked me to sing a few tunes, which I did, and I played my bodhrán. At the time, thinking back, I wasn't aware of it at the time because I had the interest, like I said, with Bigfoot, and started off what I experienced, what I'd watched as a child on TV, and then Vancouver Island with discovering that area where I figured a creature was. Looking back, it was a bed down area, and where all the ferns and stuff were laid out, and then camping with my cousin and seeing the lights over the eyes and on a tree line and that sort of thing. But I mean, looking back where I'm at now, since all those years went by, like I've experienced rocks hitting the side of the little cabin we had built up in the woods. Different times you see orbs, not a lot in the woods, but I did have some strange, weird things happen along those lines. But like some of the really weird, interesting things has happened when I picked up on security camera. And some of this stuff didn't care if it was seen. I don't know if it was just blind to it and it wanted to just put itself out there. Back, I'm going back now. Probably my youngest daughter's 21. Here's a quick story. She was about 16 or 17 years old. When me and my ex-wife were together, I went home one day after work and she was there and she was cooking. And all of a sudden I get this weird feeling that I should go somewhere. I'm not going to say where the location is to, because anyone listening would know exactly where it's to. If they're in my area as such.
No worries.
Yeah, I said, I got a weird feeling. I got to go to such and such a place. Now, this spot is in the woods and it's fairly well known. She's like, I don't know what you're doing. I said, look, I'll be back in a few minutes. So I drove over. I walked into the gate. It's by the pond. I walked through the trees and the pathway. And when I got down around the corner of the pond, there's a park bench, basically, if you want to sit for the pond, or whatever the case may be. It's a park. A crow came down and landed probably, Jesus, I don't know, 5 or 10 feet from me, not very far. And I've been feeding crows regularly, so I could go out and make a crow noise and they'd show up and I'd feed them. And I always linked that to ancient peoples. So I used to say to the crows, that when I feed them, I might sound foolish, but I'd always ask for to be linked to ancient knowledge or anything that was native related, whatever the case may be. But to get back to my story, where I walked through the park, a crow came down and landed, and it made a few noises. And I stopped and I looked at it because it was only a small area. Here's the trees, here's the pond, the edge of the water. And when that crow made those noises and flew off, I've got a real sickly feeling in my stomach. I turned to go back towards the van, and I grabbed my cell phone and I called my daughter and I said, Rebecca, what do you do? She's like, I'm at my friend's. I said, okay, where's your friend? She said, and she told me the place. I said, are you going back to your mother's? She's like, no, I'm going to spend the night. I said, don't go out anywhere, okay? Just stay there. She's like, why? I said, Rebecca, like, just please listen to me. Don't go anywhere. She's like, why, Dad? She's like, you're creeping me out. I said, just stay there. I got a bad feeling. She said, I don't know what you're thinking. Anyway, I said, don't go anywhere. She's like, okay. So over the span the next hour or two, I went home and I ate and I was start texting her and I called her and it was like I had no control of what I was doing. I was mentioning it to her. She's like, Dad, you're acting weird. There's something wrong with you. So I was all right. I went to bed that night. It was 10 to 4. The phone rang. She was in an ambulance on her way to the hospital. She was in a car accident. It was unknown to me. But something told me from that crow experience that something nasty was going to happen. And I always used to shut my phone off in the nighttime, plug it in. I laid that phone next to me for some reason. I couldn't link anything. I didn't know that anything was going to happen until it happened. She's been 2 car accidents, and it was that time and another time was a time I had a weird feeling one night. And she was like, she was 19 at the time, so it was a different age situation. I couldn't tell her what to do or where to go, basically, but she ended up in another car accident. The vehicle flipped over at 3 o'clock in the night. I just happened to put the phone next to me again. I was getting this weird feeling. But talking about the whole point of what I'm saying here, as weird as it is, I feed a lot of animals. I talk to crows. It may sound foolish, but I mean, a lot of people feed animals. Feral cats.
Oh no, I'm trying to domesticate some ravens out here. So
yeah, super intelligent birds. Yeah, there's a couple of feral cats that I feed, but I out loud, like over the last few years, I used to say, okay, well, I know there's ancient energy and spiritual energy. My great grandmother, I find out she was pretty much native. I would ask basically for a blessing or guidance from any ancient spiritual energy that was linked to our past or that will help me understand and have a better life or nature, whatever the case may be. And if it could give me an understanding of the past and be able to show me things that I would understand over time and I'd say I already had stuff going on that was weird, but that was probably a week before this big onslaught of what I was seeing on this video camera. Funny thing was, the video camera thing, after a while, it was presenting itself so much to me, like I told you before, that I just shut the camera off. And I did get a little scared about some stuff, even though it was as tough as I thought I was, there was so much presenting itself to me that it did have an effect on me. But now, like I mentioned the other night there when I spoke to you, I took the camera off. But there recently, I turned the camera back on, and it was showing it was connected, but I couldn't see anything. It was just a black screen. And I've had some weird stuff go on where my internet would go out, and there wouldn't be no internet issues. And then some things went missing from the files on my phone and on my computer.
That's weird.
Even some of my videos. I've had 2 videos. One is like this little spaceship. Actually, I don't know if I sent you the picture. This is a little tiny thing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was in the house before I moved here. And it was like levitating. It was this light in the living room. And when I went back and looked back on that video, there was music put to it. And there was another video that I took there not too long back that I seen all this strange stuff in. And I wanted to go back and break it down into pictures and have a look at the video. And when I did, half the video was missing and the rest of it had music put to it. And the things in it, it was almost like someone made a cartoon out of it. I didn't change or do any of this stuff. It was almost like what I was interested in looking at was partially gone, disappeared, or was set up with music to a point where it would look, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just strange stuff.
No, but obviously it was tampered with. I mean, that's...
So I don't know if it's a spiritual thing and that tampered with it and didn't want me to talk about it. But I mentioned you too, and about clouds. I don't know if you remember that. Said about how I could look out the window and see the clouds one way, but on the security camera, I was watching these clouds look over and move and join and that type of stuff. And I was taking still shots and running the video with my other phone, of the phone as I was looking at it. And as I look back on the pictures that were probably clicked, not very much in between, the date, 2 of them had a date of like 2017 or 2018. I never even had that phone at that point. So why would that stuff be altered? That where I took the 5 pictures in progression, where you can see the clouds change, like nothing. The sky is clear, and all of a sudden you look at clouds. There's nothing. Then all of a sudden you got one zips over, hits the other one. They change shape and then separate and go this way and that way. And then all of a sudden it's all shagged up. And some of the pictures are showing a date from a few years ago.
And those dates are popping up in the middle of like recent dates. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you had 5 pictures and the first one might have said 2019 and it goes 2017, 2017, 2019, 2019. Yeah, or
all these pictures were probably took about anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds, probably, or a little bit more apart. So I go back and say, so I can look at the pictures and say, holy shit, look, here's the time. This went from this to this. So that proves that not only in the video that was taken, but I could say, well, look at this. And just to prove the pictures, I could flip it off and it said date and the time when the picture was took.
Sure.
But when I flipped up to, it never said July 2020. It said like whatever 2018. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it's actually doing on the phone. Yeah, there's just a ton of weird stuff.
That is strange.
The story after story, and I can walk out now, I'd say, and if I turned my phone on the video camera and went out and stood in one spot with it, I would start to see weird colored faces.
Really?
And I have got lots of videos of that. I'll send you one of those. A lot of the stuff I put it aside and kept it off where it could be tampered with after those episodes of things going missing.
Sure.
So I just done a couple extra copies and put them away somewhere. Well,
you had mentioned that you had some video that was pretty convincing and weren't ready to put it out there, and I don't blame you.
Yeah, exactly. To give you an idea, one of these things, it's, well, in the video, I look down, here's my lawn. I was telling you about these little elf-looking type things that were underneath the step looking up. I think I sent you one of the pictures, but you can just see where the grass is distorted, almost like that that Predator movie or whatever the case may be. It's always got that watery look to it. I didn't send you the other one where you can obviously see what are there and they're looking up and they're turning and you can see the black eyes and the little elf heads and bodies and moving and stuff. But I had one that was a bit weird because, see, look, I was dealing with the death of my father. He died in January, the end of January, and I was really close to him. And he moved into this house with me, and we got stuck in a bad snowstorm. So actually, they call it, I don't know, whatever, blizzard of 2020. It was like 100 and some odd centimeters of snow.
So your father just passed this past January?
Yeah, in January.
My condolences, man. I'm really sorry.
He got stuck in the house. The very morning I prayed, I said, if anything goes wrong, please not let it be today. When I woke up, he said he couldn't breathe. So we had to get the fire department to come and shovel us out of the house and whatnot. So there's a lot of goings on, issues with the local clinic and whatever. Anyway, he passed away that week. Everything went to hell quick. I became very down and depressed, like you would. I mean,
Sure.
You know, it took a while for me to mourn and look back and try to understand things. But a lot of this strange stuff started to present itself to me while I was, I don't know, it wasn't set out to make me feel weird in my mind or my body, but I was looking at this camera and it was showing me things that were odd. So, you know, you look out, your vehicle is parked there, and all of a sudden you got this colored looking creature, and you can see the tint on your vehicle, and his head and his arm waves to you. And it almost looks like a hyena. And you can see where there's other shapes in the windows in the vehicle. It's almost like they're all along for a ride. I got this on video. I put it aside, and I took some pictures of it. That I didn't show to anybody because I figure, well, I mean, I wouldn't want, there's a lot of people in this area that are older people. I don't want to draw no attention to anything that's going on. That
Sure.
Bad outside, like I mentioned the last time I spoke. But then there's Jesus, there's so much out there. I mean, we're
not alone.
Okay.
I said we're not alone. You know,
yeah, I mean, especially this
you
time
know,
of year where the light starts to fade earlier in the evenings, and you almost get that bit of a little misty look to the air, right? Whether you call it the veil or whatever the case may be. I mean, it's if I sat down with you and took a memory card over the last few years, I'd say I've got over 100 gigs of pictures and videos of weird things. A ton of it.
Damn.
A ton of really strange stuff. That's why I came up with the name Strangeland. So.
No, that's a cool name, man. I gotta say some things to chat. Sawdust Beast, what's up? Carrie, how's it going, man? Hold on. No. Yeah, good to see you guys. Argo Mogs, please ask how old he was when he first saw us. What? You got to finish the thought there, Argo.
But just while you're going to ask that question, when I watched that video, Iceland linked to the unknown or the strange or whatever the case may be, it's really interesting. And a lot of the stuff that they pointed out, these different rock structures. The funny thing is, like I mentioned before, there's a lot of weird big rocks in this area, and I think a lot of this energy is linked to the fact that there was no ice in this small corridor, probably 50 by however many kilometers or miles, where the soil is really rich. When you look at during the Ice Age, which was what 12 or 13,000 years ago, ice covered pretty much all of North America, down over where I'm to, down into the US and whatnot. But there was these little pockets of areas where there was no ice. And I've done some research since I spoke to this other guy who commented. You've seen it there in the comments. When he mentioned me, he said, "Oh, maybe I spoke to you before," and asked me if I watched that Icelandic show, which I didn't. Apparently, this area where I'm to, it there's something to do with certain ley lines. I forget what it's called. I never looked at it very much. A lot of this stuff, these lines are linked, like even down into pyramids down in Egypt and other places around the globe that supposedly, after having these different strange energies and anomalies of sorts. So I don't know, kind of hard to explain, but
well, there's supposed to be ley lines going through Sedona as well. I think that's what contributes to the vortexes or whatever the hell's going on over there.
I was finding some pretty strange rocks too. Actually, I got a friend who's a geologist, and I sent him some pictures of certain rocks. He's like, "Where'd you get that?" I don't know. That's only in the desert, in places like that. Like I go out metal detecting as a hobby. I'd get a signal, and I'd dig down. I wouldn't find. There was no. After digging and digging, there was no signal. The signal disappeared. But a weird shaped rock or something with markings on it. Actually, hold on. I'll show you one.
Sure. Woohoo! Show and tell time, folks.
I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't know if anyone ever heard of. They say it's ancient writing Celtic Ogham or Ohm.
Yeah.
A series of lines.
Mm-hmm.
This rock. Never mind the. See those lines? All right, sure. This is basalt. This is the form of basalt, which is probably rated, I think, 8 on the hardness scale.
Hardness scale, yeah. It's volcanic.
Right. Yeah, but this rock here, there's a guy down in Australia and his son. They talk about Strong. Their last name is Strong. They're talking about how this energy is in these ancient rocks in Australia. They have a rock that's very similar to this. There was one found in Calgary, I think, back in the 90s. And there's a Dr. I think Cunningham, or he's over in England. I think he done some study on these rocks. There was one found, I think, down around China, and there was another one down in Jesus. It's a recent spot over in Europe where they've discovered this pyramid system. The Bosnia pyramids. If you ever punched that in, there's a rock found over there. So there's only a handful of these rocks, basically, that had this writing on it. But the thing is, right here is almost like, and he talks about it, this guy, Strong, this professor down in Australia, that these are designed to be held in your hand. And that a lot ancient people had knowledge on how to melt rock and how to shape it. And that there's probably information or stuff inside. Like you can see where it's war right here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line where there's a little series of dots, ticks. So I don't know. I've had this rock a while, and it hasn't brought me any bad energy, I don't think.
So Sawdust Beast, hold on, buddy.
Not magnetic, but I find it metal detecting. When I go back to a spot, something keeps saying, go back and metal detect. After 5 times go metal detecting, I come up getting a strong signal. At the last time, it ends up being a rock that doesn't give a signal. And when I pick it up, the signal is gone. So, strange.
Yeah, that is strange. So Sawdust Beast just put an invite. If anyone wants to come to the Beast TV meet and greet this Halloween weekend, we would be honored to share a campfire with you. Sawdust, put some more information out about that. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm going to pop off there now, and you can let somebody else on if you want to come on and have a talk.
No, it's Strangeland. I appreciate it. I really do, man. You got some great stories. I want to hear some more. It's weird that that rock with the Ogham on it that's weird that you found that. The way you found it.
I've seen other rocks where I haven't touched, and I left them where they were too, and I didn't want to disturb them with. It almost looks like the writing that the Vikings used.
Ruined.
Something like the runestone.
Yeah.
Kensington runestone, something like that. They say is linked to
the Kensington runestone. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've seen lots of weird stuff, symbols
I
on
think they
rocks.
said that was linked to the Knights Templar too.
I actually had one. I might have a picture of it. I ended up leaving it where it was two. It was very tiny, and it's a rock. I don't think it's jade or jadeite, or if it was, it looks like a regular color rock, similar to that. That's all. But there's green on it, and one of the symbols on it's identical to that face that you see on Mars.
Oh, really?
If I can, yeah, you know, it looks like I have a space helmet.
Yeah.
If I can find a picture somewhere along the way, I'll send it to you. Or I'll come out another time with a picture and show it. And
Yeah, no, I'm gonna figure out how to do the whole picture thing. Be able to post stuff. It can't be that hard. I figured everything out this far.
Moog since I'll call you Moog. After pretty much the last 5 years, going back to when my daughter had that experience, you know, with the accident and whatnot, and the weird feeling, and then I start. That's when I really start thinking about the Bigfoot thing again. And I've had experiences too where I've heard things, like I said before. You hear a sound outside your house, you open the window, you look out, you can hear breathing, nothing there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like noises in the woods on back of the house. I made a bird noise one time with this chirp, and it the exact same thing was done back to me from the trees, probably 75 feet back. I don't know where to, but it actually, when it whistled, it was this grumble, and it's almost like the sound wrapped around me. It was that powerful. When the noise was made, it was almost like it would say, okay, here's your noise, it's coming to you, and it just engulfs you. Now, no hair stood up in the back of my head because I got none. Back of my neck. But yeah, you know what I mean? I used to feed crows when I worked somewhere else every morning. I throw out a bit of stuff for them. And I've had situations where I throw out, and when I go to pick something else, all of a sudden everything's down off the ground. And you hear a crow noise, but that crow sounds like about 1,500 pounds.
I was gonna say 800-pound crow.
Big feeling, and I've experienced the feeling of out of sorts, coming across places where trees were cracked off or whatever the case may be. And give you another quick story. I live from our main city, probably about 80 kilometers. So there's one area that I always took an interest in for some reason, because there was a batch of rocks and whatnot. And I'm like, geez, it'd always probably be a good spot to go back metal detecting if there was any old foundations or whatever there. And I always get this weird feeling when I went by there. It was like I was drawn to it, but I never did stop to go to it. And probably one day during the summer, I was passing by that, and all of a sudden, as I passed it, I felt this big bang on the side of my car. And I'm like, holy shit, what was that? So I hit my brake and slowed down. I was out in the passing lane. There was a person just on the back of me. But I mean, they weren't up far enough to hit me. There was nothing. I pulled over. There was nothing on the road. And I got extremely disorientated, out of sorts. And I actually opened up the car door and threw up a few times. That same thing has happened in two areas where I'm after seeing some of these tree structures, X's, and whatnot. And I try to stay clear of it, because one spot is close by at a spot where a lot of people go. And I found it strange because these big trees were broke off. And the 3 times that I've been there, I got sick. Like all of a sudden, you just get overwhelming feeling to throw up. And you get that sickly shake and ache and nervous feeling. So I don't stop there anymore. I just keep
there's something in the area. There's an energy that's not agreeing with you or something. Because I've heard that people that it's happened to when they went to Sedona. They'd go to Sedona and feel like shit. And it happened to a brother and a sister that I knew. And they said as soon as they got out of Sedona, they felt fine. But the whole time they were there, the energy did not agree with them.
Yeah. Whatever this is, like I've experienced, moved 3 different locations. And I'm still experiencing it. But I'm still within, like I said, within that range of where there was no ice. I think that really has something to do with There's some really big, weird shaped boulders that have carvings into them, but it's almost like the carvings are protruding. I forget what it's called. You know what I mean? Like if you look at something and you start chiseling away, but you want that, like Mount Rushmore.
It's a relief. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not engraved, it's carved out.
Yeah, and one was near a local takeout because I used to go through the drive-through, and every time I go there, I'm like, Jesus, man, that rock's amazing looking. And it was a perfect cut block. I actually have pictures of that too. And it's probably, I'd say, 2 feet by 2 feet by, like, perfect dimensions, rectangular. Well, not perfect dimensions, you know what I'm saying? 11 times width. But I actually have some pictures of that. And I was a couple of times I went over and I took my phone and took lots of pictures around it. And there last fall, all of a sudden it disappeared. So I don't know if the person that owned the place took it, or if somebody figured, oh, Jesus, that's a great, nice big square rock to take, and we'll use that to split our wood come the fall type thing, right?
Yeah.
The winter. But yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff. But when you go back to this Icelandic show with the unknown and the elves and the energy and all that kind of stuff, I mean, a lot of that is all linked to rocks and strange energy. It's hard. Like I said, I could go up a list and give you 3 stories 100 times. There's that many things that are after happening. I've had, like, I don't know if I mentioned to you, me and my father joined the dart league there last year before he passed away. So this was probably in September month. I bring him to town to the Irish club where he was a member, and he enjoyed because they had darts on their socials. Coming out one night, I said, "Geez, Father, what's that over there across the bog? There was nothing there. This is out the main highway." He's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "That red light." He's like, "I don't know, but it's probably a tower." I don't know, it might have been a tower there for radio or whatever the case may be. As I got closer, it was getting closer. And so I pulled over to the side of the road. I don't know if I accidentally deleted this video, but on the video, I rolled the window down and I held my phone up. And this big thing with 3 different triangular lights, and it was big. I don't know how high it was, but it was high enough to, let's say 200 feet in the air. And it was a big thing. But it made no noise. It just made this, like a whizzing suction noise, like a buzz, which is a bit strange. And since 2018, I've had 3 experiences where I've had planes go over this area that had no markings on them. I think I might have mentioned this last time I spoke to you. And it made no noise, probably the size of like a small commercial plane. And being up in the air, probably 400 feet. And I go and I take nice clear pictures with my phone. It's a good camera on it, and all I end up is with the shape, but this blurry, black, globby looking plane shape. Whereas I'm high enough that I should be able to zoom in and take a nice clear picture of it. And I've got 3 different times that has happened. And a couple other times, UFO type stuff experiences I was telling you about. At one point, I had these 2 different UFO experiences. I showed some people, were like, yeah, okay, the big light, who cares? But when I went back and looked, 9 seconds into it, you can see this red line zip across and hit that ball of light and go, just like somebody took something and stuck it into it. So, and the thing was, it was probably within the same time, within that week of when I seen it the year before. And the funny thing is, and I don't attribute this to Bigfoot, whatever the case may be, probably within a 5-kilometer area is where I've heard these different experiences that I've had, which are other stories, again, into Sasquatch and odd things. You know, being we had an old bus to do a paper, and we had a little cabin, and you get rocks hitting it, but you wouldn't know because you're too busy sitting down drinking and playing cards, and you never had something like a tree or whatever the case may be. But I had a friend that had these little things made out of sticks and left on a picnic table in the woods. He thought it was just kids that were actually twisting up things and.
Were they figures? Little tiny figures
Yeah.
of like a person.
Yeah, one looked like a person, but like this ball here, one and just like one arm extension. But another time I walked through the woods and I found this. I got a picture of it. It's probably, I don't know, the size of a dinner plate. It's all small rocks going across. There's two in the center. And then you got these little broke off sticks, little twigs that are crisscrossed and angled and then laid on some of the rocks. It's almost like somebody sat down and done a little rock version of Stonehenge, put some, put some sticks into it. But I mean, I just happened to come across that when I tied my shoe, and this was back in the woods where nobody would have been.
Sure.
Which doesn't make any sense, right?
So Pappy Two Bears says, strange, you are sensitive to energy changes in different types. You can develop it to understand if you apply yourself to it. And that's what it does seem. You are definitely sensitive to energy.
Yeah, I think you're correct. I was down to my oldest.
Pappy's correct.
Yeah, exactly. I was down to my oldest daughter's house this week, and I stayed down for a night. And I was just telling her about some of this stuff and showing it to her. And while I was there, I had a couple of experiences where it was like somebody actually sat next to me on the couch, pushed my leg over. And we were talking about what I'm speaking about now, and she got like her downstairs in the rec room. She's got sets of white Christmas lights across the edges of it. When we started talking about it first, one of the lights blew out. Never thought about it, but okay. She's like, "Oh, that's pretty freaky. Strange for the lights to go out." Within a minute, another set on back of her that wasn't even linked to that one went out, which was kind of strange. So the next morning, I got up and I went up and see my grandson and stuff, and I was talking to her, and I was getting ready to go. And I looked, and she had a rock in her hand. And I'm like, "Where'd you get that?" She said, "I don't know. It was in the living room." She said, "I don't know how it got here." She said, "Because it's only me and her and my grandson. And here's this triangle-shaped rock that we were having the night before. She had one about this size in her hand that she found in her living room. We don't know where it came from."
That's strange.
How weird is that? So I told her to send me a picture of the rock, and it's the exact same color. I mean, it might mean nothing. And it's almost the exact same shape and color of a rock that I picked up outside on the ground there this week. So I would actually go places where I'd get out, open the door, and I'd look down, and I could be like 30, 40 kilometers from where I was to. And I'll pick up a rock that's almost identical to a rock that I picked up before I left my house and tossed aside.
Yeah.
It was almost like a clone of that rock, pretty much. Just happened as I pulled in that parking lot and put my foot out, there was a rock on the ground. I don't know. Some stuff was really far-fetched.
Some weird coincidences.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's totally off the wall in some senses. So now when I look back and listen to some people's stories and you say, geez, okay, that sounds great. That really sounds out to lunch. I don't doubt anything anymore. Right? I mean, unless you see it, most people. Kerry's experience from seeing a Bigfoot. I mean, when he told that really, really appealed to him. Like, that really took the whole notion of believing in Bigfoot or Sasquatch. And if there was ever a story that a person was to believe in, that would be basically the poster story.
Kerry's?
Yeah. Kerry and Bigfoot Odyssey.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I've heard so many stories. I've heard 1,500 to 2,000 firsthand account stories. You know, there's a lot of good stories out there. Yeah, his story is a great story. I mean, it was, the first time I heard it, I was like riveted,
Yeah.
But I have heard some really fantastic stories out there. Some that, I had trouble sleeping afterwards,
Yeah. And there's so much more Bigfoot, but it's hard to go off the beaten path when you're concentrating on something that you've experienced by itself. Or, man, we're looking at a bucket that we don't know what's in it, but we just know there's a lot of stuff in it that is completely outside the realm of what normal would be.
Yeah.
Here's another thing I could mention too. When I was telling you about those clouds, probably 3 or 4 days later, I looked and there was a tweet from a jet exhaust. So I'm like, Jesus, that's coming down awful low. Be coming off a jet. And later on that afternoon, there was like 4 or 5 of them. And it was almost just as thick at 200 or 300 feet than what it would have been when the planes went overhead. I actually got a picture of that too, where you see the 4 or 5 trails. I don't know if they're chemtrails as they speak of or what, but it's a little alone. We see many planes in this area, but when you got a picture of 4 or 5 exhaust trails off of jets, or planes, that's a bit much in a small area.
It is.
Right. But anyway, I ran out of beer.
No worries, man.
Oh man, I got a hell of a lot of stuff that's experience that I've experienced, and I've opened up more talking to you on this show twice than I've ever told anybody.
No, it's good, man. It's good to get that off your chest, and it's not, because I want to hear your stories. It's like, I think it's it's really helpful.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I can be here to give you that opportunity.
Perfect. But anyway, I'm going to pop off and you can speak to somebody else and I'll sit back and have a
you know what? It's getting late. I don't know how much longer. I'll see if I can get somebody to pop on, but it's getting late. I got work in the morning. But I do appreciate you coming on, man. Anytime, keep those stories coming, man.
Yeah, I'll send you
I appreciate it.
Good videos. All right, people. Take care.
Have a good night, man. Thank you again.
Right on. Bye.
Oh. So yeah, man, you talk about another weird shit magnet. Yes, Strange Land, you have some weird shit that goes on with you, but it's just you run the gambit, man. Like sort of like Mike K. He's had Bigfoot, a supposed Bigfoot encounter and UFOs and ghosts, and I dig that, man. I've only had paranormal, only paranormal. I mean, most people would be like, only. Sorry, my eyes watering. Yeah, it's cool to hear all those different stories. So thank you for that. So yeah, guys, it is late, but if you guys, anybody's feeling froggy and wants to jump on, just send me an email and I'll send you a link. It's already we've been on this an hour and 23 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, if anybody wants to come on, just like I said, just send me the link or send me the email address and I'll send you a link. If you guys have any questions for me, I apologize if I missed any. Jamie Harms, where has Mike been? I don't know if he's pouting. No, he's all right. He's just laying low. We got a little butt hurt over some things, and he'll be back. I've talked to him. He still thinks he has to prove shit to everybody, but I told him he doesn't. We'll see if he listens. But yeah, he's all right. Mike is lurking. He probably is. He's watching. Are you lurking, Michael? Just looking to see if there's any questions, comments. Bomber says, Strange Land, we love you, buddy. Right on. I love hearing stories. I just I love people telling their stories. If you don't believe them, don't. You know what? You're right, Pappy. Nobody else. Geez, I don't know. That came out in '67. I was born in '67, so sometime in the '70s. I don't know. I don't remember. It's funny because I remember seeing that film, the Patty film, but it really didn't affect me because, I mean, it was cool, but I was in New Jersey and, Patty was in, the other side of the country. So it didn't flip me out. I mean, I was growing up, I was more concerned with the Jersey Devil. We had that folklore growing up, which was interesting. You see, articles pop up in the local paper about sightings of the Jersey Devil, and that would get you all scared when you were a kid. Bjorn is asking, have you heard of a creature called the Rake? Yeah, most of us have, and I think the Rake is just, it's either creepypasta. It was originally started in creepypasta, excuse me. And now people say, oh, well, the Rake is being confused with a ghoul. I no idea. But yeah, originally I think that was a creepypasta made up thing. I'm sure somebody in chat will see. Bob says rake. Rob says rake. Yes. Sorry, I just got to keep checking my email. Well, guys, we've been at this almost an hour and a half. Think about what day I should go on the weekend. I need your help with that. Suggestions. Moog, my ex-husband's birth year and state. So your ex-husband is 52 and from New Jersey. Carla, is that you? No. That's fucked up. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm going to do a weekend show, guys, if you didn't hear me earlier. I just got to figure out what night. I really don't want to compete. Not that it's competing, but, it kind of sucks because I have to go on late. I think the earliest on a Sunday I can go on is 8. And Saturday, I don't know. I just feel bad going on late for everybody on the East Coast. And, I'm on West Coast time. But anyway, we'll figure it out. I might surprise you and pop on this weekend. Let me see who's doing what. Again, I don't like stepping on toes. If somebody's got a show planned, I'll let them do their show and then I'll hop on. Just checking out chat real quick, seeing if there's any other questions or comments. And these guys don't sleep. Yeah, but I work. I think Saturday night would be a better night for me because Sunday's an easier. Well, it doesn't matter. Shit. Not sure what to do. Hey, Mark, we got to get you on soon again. Sawdust Beast. I enjoyed your show tonight with Daniela. You know, despite the little snafu in the beginning, it was all good. It's funny. I have a list of people I want to interview. Daniela's on there. So I'll get her on. Don't worry about the time of your shows. People will figure it out for themselves. Interesting. This is true, Pappy. I'm just too courteous. Pappy's like, don't worry about what time you go on and other shows. Just do your thing. And he's right. So, all right, guys. Well, we'll figure something out this weekend. I probably will see you this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. Saturday night sounds more appealing to me for some reason. Strangeland, thanks again to my moderators. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Bomber. I saw Bell in here earlier, and I forgot to say hi. Didn't get a chance. I was a little busy. Crave Dog, thank you. I know I was just in the middle of saying something, but sorry, I'm just trying to scroll through chat real quick. So anyway, all right, guys, I'll see you guys this weekend. I'll surprise you. I don't know which night, though. And you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great Friday. Thank you so much again. If you like the show, hit the comments, and also hit the like, subscribe, do that thing. I think hopefully you know what? I saw somebody subscribe to me, and that means I'm probably at I'm 3 away from 600 subscribers. So anybody who's not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I need 3 people to hit 600. So let's see what we can do. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I will talk to you soon. All right. I love you all. I'll see you this weekend. Peace and God bless, guys. Good night.